automatically upshifted there 60, and it's actually pretty quick, guys. I mean, all things considered. And you know what, I don't know what you guys think about the sound, but I think it's good. I think it's fun, right? It adds a little bit to the sport mode.
Welcome to Drive Culture. I'm Jonathan Rivers, and today we have the 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. And I'm going to tell you all about this brand new vehicle from Acura. So we'll go over the exterior, the interior, the powertrain, and of course, take it for a drive. So if this is content you're after or you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that bell to subscribe to come back for more. And with that, let's get after it. Now, this is a brand new vehicle from Acura and a brand new nameplate, right? There's never been an ADX before. So let's talk about what this vehicle is and its positioning, right? So up until this point, you had to get an Acura Integra if you really wanted to start in the entry level of the Acura lineup of vehicles. Well, the Integra is a sporty liftback design, even has an available manual transmission, but admittedly, there's a lot of buyers that are looking for SUVs. There's a lot of buyers that are looking for available all-wheel drive. So this is gonna fit perfectly for those people looking for that entry SUV. Now, let's talk about trims and pricing. So ADX has several trims, and on each of the trims, there's a two-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive variant. Now, ADX starts at just $35,000, which is pretty crazy in today's marketplace, considering that even that entry-level trim is really well equipped. However, if you step all the way up to this A-Spec Advance, it's going to cost you $44,000 MSRP. Now, again, that doesn't include D&H or the premium paint charge that you might incur, because this car has the premium paint, which is called Urban Gray Pearl. It's a beautiful color. There's a lot of like gold flake on this one. We'll go ahead and look at that in the exterior, but you're gonna have to pay extra for that. But even still, at $44,000 fully loaded, that seems like a lot of car for the money, and we'll go through all the details. So with this being a brand new vehicle, let's go ahead and do a full exterior walk around next. All right, guys, here we are with the exterior of the Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. And like I said, this is an all-new vehicle, so never seen this styling or design before, especially on a compact SUV like this. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these character lines that are going on here in the hood. So Acura always has these kind of bold, sharp character lines down the center, off to the fenders. Looks really, really aggressive. And like I said, this car's painted in that Urban Gray Pearl paint, and it has this crazy yellow flake behind it. So if you see it there up under the sun, really pops behind that gray. Next, you have these premium LED headlights with that kind of checkmark design that Acura has used on several models. And if you get really close, you might be able to see that it actually says Acura there in the headlights. That's nice detailing as well. But next, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the whole front end and this big, bold grille design. So this is Acura's diamond pentagon grille, right? And has that huge Acura caliper up front. There's 4 parking sensors at the front of the vehicle on this trim, 2 in the grille, 2 in the front fascia. And then also down below, like kind of hidden away, is the front camera, right, for the 360 surround view camera system that this car has. So that's kind of hidden under the Acura logo. Down below there, you do have LED fog lights, in those like kind of painted black intakes down below. And, a big opening there for the front mount intercooler, which we'll talk about during the powertrain section. But also, this particular car has some dealer installed accessories. So if you look really closely here, you'll see these kinds of kind of front lip spoilers that are added on to both the left and right of the vehicle. Those are dealer installed accessories that just make it a little bit more aggressive and sporty. So you see those on both sides. So next, let's go ahead and kind of take in the full side profile of ADX. Here you can see, so like I said, it's much smaller than something like the RDX, fits nicely beneath that as the new entry into the Acura lineup of SUVs. Nice character lines there over the fenders, as well as those painted fender arches as well. Those are not painted on some of the lower trims, but on the top trims, they're painted gloss black, which is a nice touch. So next, let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the wheel and tire package. Now, on some of the entry trims, they start with 18-inch wheels, but here on this A-Spec Advance, it's actually a 19-inch wheel, and these are 235 45R19 Continental tires. So they're wrapped around, and this, really nice Berlina black painted wheel, black lug nuts too, which is a nice touch. So pretty premium wheel design there. You have the A-Spec badging here on the fender, painted gloss black mirror caps with LED turn signals, and these are actually power folding side mirrors as well, so that's a nice touch. You have the black around the window treatments as part of the A-Spec package, the painted side down on the lower, the painted side sill, which is a nice touch. Wheels and tires are the same in the back, so we won't cover those. But next, let's just go ahead and take out the full rear view. And you can see it has a really interesting profile, right? The whole tailgate kind of like slants down, but creates this really premium design. You have the Acura logo there in the middle, A-Spec badging off to the left, ADX on the right, as well as the all-wheel drive badge down there. And those are flanked by the premium LED taillights that look very similar to what you find on some of the newer Acuras like the MDX and ZDX. Down below, you have kind of an aggressive diffuser, given that this is a small SUV. Those pretty big exhaust outlets down there as well. You get 4 parking sensors in that painted black area, and you also get a rear view camera right there above the license plate. But lastly, here on the roof, you can see it has like an integrated like spoiler, right, which is really aggressive. So I think that's a really nice touch, and just kind of helps to show the sporty intentions of this little SUV. So I think we've covered just about everything on the exterior of this car. So next, let's go ahead and hop inside to talk about the interior. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the interior of this Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. So again, like I said, this is the fully loaded trim, guys. So there's a lot of premium materials in here, nice touch points, and there's a ton of tech and features we're gonna go into. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about the steering wheel. It is an awesome diameter. It's a great shape. It's actually a flat bottom steering wheel, given that it's the A-Spec trim. There's, it's leather wrap, but there's these nice perforations off to the sides. There's contrast stitching throughout the vehicle, but here on the steering wheel as well. You've got all your volume controls on the left, all of your ADAS and safety controls on the right. You even got these huge paddle shifters, and guess what? These are actually metal. Like they get kind of cold to the touch or hot on a certain day, but that's a really nice touch point. And we'll talk about how those work and behave during the drive. Down below, you've got the A-Spec badging, the Acura caliper here on the airbag cover, but in between the spoke, you also have a button for the heated steering wheel. So that's right, on this top trim, you also get a heated steering wheel, which is really nice. So premium materials throughout. And like I said, there's a lot of contrast stitching. One of the things we'll talk about next is the color, right? So there's several interior colors that you can get. You can get a black, of course, with like some red stitching. You can get a full red interior, and I mean, it's red. It looks really premium. But this one here is what Acura calls Orchid. So it's kind of like this cream, like off-white color. But one of the crazy details on the ADX is that instead of like pairing it with like a traditional black accent, there's these bright blue accents on the seats and on the door linings. Now, let us know your guys' thoughts and comments down below, but I'll tell you what, I really like it. I think it looks really premium. It's very bold. I mean, it's not gonna be for everyone. I agree with that, but it looks pretty good to me. And like, again, it's like a suede material for the blue too. So it kind of really contrasts the premium leather that you get with the seats, and even here on the dash. So on both sides, you get that Orchid leather and some stitching detailing even on the dash, which is really, really premium. So let's talk about the center console area here. It has kind of a unique design, doesn't look exactly like the Integra or really any of the other Acuras. It's kind of got its own unique design, kind of premium pattern here for the vents for the climate, and these like longer joysticks to kind of, move the vents around. So pretty premium materials there. Down below, you do have a dual zone climate control, which is nice. And you got like some physical controls with some nice tactile feedback as well. Well, the great thing is these seats though. So here you can control both heated and ventilated seat functions, and there's 3 stages for both, which is really nice. But let's just talk about the seats. I mean, like I said, they feel really good. They're premium. They're power for both the driver and the passenger. The driver side actually gets a lumbar support as well, so there's extra adjustability there, but both of them are really premium and comfortable seats as well. Now, as we make our way back to the center console area, down here you have two USB-C charge ports, one to connect your phone and one for data. Next to that, you got a 12-volt socket, and you also have a wireless charging pad below that. Now, just behind that, you have a single cup holder and kind of a little cubby. I mean, you could put the key fob in there or some other things. But then that takes you to this kind of like, console design here that carries up to the dash. It's this premium leather material on the outside, but on the inside, it's kind of got this like ridged, material that is like got kind of a nice surface to it. It just feels premium in here, guys, given the price point. I mean, there's chrome detailing throughout. There's these just extra details that really make this feel like a very nice cabin. Now, you do have a mechanical shifter in here. We'll talk about more how that operates during the drive. And then to the left of that, you have all your controls for like the drive modes. Now, there's a drive mode toggle, there's an idle stop off switch, hill descent control, parking brake, brake hold, all that's off to the left. Behind that, you get another cup holder. So it's kind of interesting. The cup holder design is separated. They're not like two cup holders side by side. So I don't know if you like that or not, but anyway, it's an interesting design they have there. If I lift up the center armrest here, there's a pretty deep pocket inside as well. Of course, you have a traditional glove box here, so that's pretty nice. But like I said, there's lots of premium tech and features. So let's talk about the screen right in front of me here. So that's a 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster, and it's customizable. We'll show you your navigation, your audio, your range. A little ADX pops up there and shows the vehicles around for the ADAS and safety controls. So that's a pretty premium design. Here in the center display, it's 9-inch color touchscreen with Google built in. And if you haven't watched our other videos, you're not familiar with what that is, I'll tell you real quick. It's 3 apps. It's the Google Maps, it's the Google Assistant, and it's the Google Play Store. And it's all built into the car. You don't need a separate phone even to pair that. Now, of course, if you do and you want to connect, there is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. So all that connectivity is there. There's plenty of places to charge, which is really nice. Next, I'll say is you have this kind of black roof liner, which looks really nice, and it takes you up to the panoramic moonroof. That's right. It's not just a regular moonroof. They have that on the lower trims, but on this top trim here, it's that full opening panoramic moonroof. And yes, it has a power sunshade that matches the interior as well. So that is a super premium feature, again, for this price point and this type of vehicle. But you guys know me and you know how much I love music. So last, let's talk about this Bang & Olufsen premium sound system that's in this car. In the ADX, there's 15 speakers inside and it's 3D audio. I mean, you even got speakers here above your head as well. So there's speakers everywhere. There's Bang & Olufsen badging everywhere. And man, the sound system sounds really, really good. In fact, you can go into the center screen and do some really cool adjustments with the equalizer with their Baosonic soundstage. So that's really, really cool and premium design. So I think we've covered just about everything up front. So next, let's go ahead and hop in the rear. All right, guys, here we are in the rear of the Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. So as always, I'll say I'm about 5'10". Room-wise, though, there's a lot of space back here. So this is my actual driving position right up front. And yeah, I still got several inches of knee room back here. It's really easy to get my big feet up under the seat, which is really nice. I got tons of headroom. And yeah, it's just a spacious car. You know, like I said, it's a smaller SUV, but when you get inside, it really does give this sense of space inside. So it's a really good packaging there. The premium, materials from the front carry over to the rear. You get some speakers on the door. You get that Orchid kind of leather and contrast stitching on the door as well. The seats, same materials. You get the premium Orchid kind of leather material back here, contrast stitching, and yes, even those blue accents, these suede blue accents, carry to the rear of the vehicle as well. The center seat is slightly recessed down, which would give you a little bit more headroom in the center position. The floor is almost perfectly flat too. So yeah, you could fit 3 adults back here. Obviously kids will give you even more space, but yeah, it's a really spacious back here. You get one map pocket as well on the passenger seat. You do have vents and the ability to adjust the flow of air, but not a full tri-zone climate, which you wouldn't expect at this price point or compact size. You do get 2 USB-C charge ports back here though, so that's really, really nice. So combine that with the 2 up front and the wireless charge pad, that means every person in the vehicle could be charging a device, even in this small SUV. So plenty of connectivity there. Lastly, like I said, I'll go ahead and pull down the center armrest here. So it's actually pretty nice and soft, which is great. Has 2 cup holders in here and a center headrest that raises up. And yeah, other than that, you got some like cool LED lights that are like kind of touch sensitive, right? It just takes a quick touch and the LED lights go off. So other than that, this is a pretty nice rear space. So next, let's go ahead and check out the cargo area. All right, next, let's go ahead and talk about the cargo space of the Acura ADX. So there's obviously a few different ways to open the power tailgate. There's a button inside, button on the key fob, and of course there's the handle here. So if you just pull that, opens right up. Of course, there's also a button inside to adjust how high you want that power tailgate to open up. But once you look inside, pretty premium materials back here. With the second row up, right, there's 60/40 folding rear seats. You have 23.2 cubic feet of space. Now, if you were to fold those seats down, that grows to 53.9 cubic feet of space. So even in this small SUV, you can fit lots of stuff. No problem doing your Costco runs and things like that. So really good space, premium materials. You even have a subwoofer for that Bang & Olufsen sound system here in the rear. And you also get this kind of built-in kind of cargo cover, right? So there are these little latches here where you could pull it off and remove it if you needed to have things that, fit a little bit higher up into the cargo area. But it's nice that this comes standard with the vehicle. And even under here, if you lift this up, there's 3 like pockets in the foam that act as underfloor storage. If you lift it up one more time, you'll even see that there's some tools and space back there as well. So pretty good underfloor storage. So with that, I think we've covered everything in the cargo area. So next, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain. All right, next, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain of the Acura ADX A-Spec Advance. Now, no matter what trim ADX you get, they all have the same powertrain. The drivetrain is different, right? Like I said, there is available 2-wheel drive, which means you're gonna have a front-wheel drive configuration, or on the various trims, you can pay extra to get that all-wheel drive, which this top trim, A-Spec Advance trim, has equipped. So let's talk about the engine, right? So this is Acura's 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And in this configuration, it makes 190 horsepower and 179 foot-pounds of torque. It's made exclusively to a CVT transmission. And like I said, this one is equipped with the all-wheel drive system. So there's no better way than to prove this out than to get behind the wheel. So next, let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive.
All right, guys, here we are inside the Acura ADX A-Spec Advance, and we're gonna go ahead and take this thing for a drive. So foot on the brake, engine start stop button, starts right up. You can see it kind of slides the seat forward. Again, that's a setting you can change if you don't want that easy ingress, egress. I kind of like it, so I have it set up that way. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this thing for a drive. So seat belt on. And like always, we'll go ahead and we'll set off and we'll talk about how the vehicle feels, the drive modes, things like that. So there is a mechanical shifter here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull back from P into D to drive. I'm also going to hit the brake hold button to engage that. And off we go. Now, one other little pro tip that you may not know is you actually don't have to manually disengage the electronic parking brake. As long as you have your seatbelt on and everything is set to go, you can just give it a slight tap of the gas, and there it automatically disengages the parking brake, and you can just go on your way. So that's a nice little touch there. So next, we're going to go ahead and take this thing for a drive. So here we are driving the Acura ADX A-Spec Advance, and you know, one of the first things I'll say is the vehicle's actually really quiet. It has very good NVH, right? Noise, vibration, harshness, and you know, today's actually a pretty windy day, and even with that, I'm getting very little wind noise, you know, from the front and side glass. So really good NVH there. There's very little road noise. I'm on a pretty smooth road. Sometimes it gets a little rough surfaces, but even still, it's really good. You know, overall sound deadening in the vehicle. The other thing is like the ride quality is really good. Now there aren't you know, available adaptive suspension on this car, you know, so you're pretty much stuck with the standard suspension setting, but that's a good thing because it's kind of a good balance between like comfort and sport. Like, it's not overly harsh, but it's not kind of really soft and floaty. It's a really nice balance between the two, and would be great for everyday driving, but also still is a lot of fun to drive on some of these like kind of twisty roads and switchbacks and things like that. Now I'm driving in normal mode. We talked about there's several drive modes here, so I can go back down into comfort mode. That gives you the blue gauges, little animation. I mean, what that does is, you know, kind of makes steering a little bit lighter, but it's not super light. It would be good for, you know, maneuvering through parking lots or low speed situations. Kind of dials the throttle back. I mean, this is where you probably want to get like, you know, the best MPG if you're really trying to, you know, save some gas. But yeah, comfort mode is fine, but I feel like normal is still like a really good balance. Like, it gives you just a little bit more throttle response, steering gets just a little bit heavier, and so again, I think this is actually, again, that's why I said the default mode is normal. But what's funny is when you go from normal up into sport, all of a sudden there's a pretty big change there in everything. Like the sound in the vehicle picks up because, you know, active sound control kicks in and really turns up the engine note. You get the red gauges, steering gets a little bit heavier, but again, it's not overly weighted, and you know, it's just enough that you can have some fun on some of these curvy roads. But the throttle response in this thing, the difference between normal to sport is pretty significant. So the other thing we'll talk about is I'm in the D on the gear selector, but if I pull it back to S, that kind of puts it into a sport transmission setting. Now again, it is a CVT, but you can have some fun with it, especially with the paddle shifters. So you got these huge metal paddle shifters, minus on the left, plus on the right. So if I pull back, now it's going to say S for transmission, M for manual mode, and the simulated gear number. So there's up to 7 simulated gears. I'm in third right now. I'm going to pull it back one more time into second, and then go ahead and give it a little flooring it, and there we go. It really started to pick up. Now it automatically upshifted there 60, and it's actually pretty quick, guys. I mean, all things considered, and you know what, I don't know what you guys think about the sound, but I think it's good. I think it's fun, right? It adds a little bit to the sport mode. Now, again, this isn't a Type S, it's not a sports car, I get it, but it's just nice that in this small compact SUV, which could be a nice little family car, you know, you could go out and have some fun on some of these roads. And the ones that we're driving on here, again, it's got some good speed to them, got a couple switchbacks that we went around, and so I can really test, you know, how good the steering is. And like I said, the chassis, suspension tuning, plus the steering makes this a really fun car to drive. It really is. As a small SUV, I think you'll have a blast driving this thing. And then kind of add in the sport mode and, you know, the ability to kind of like do these shifted gears. Again, it's a really good driving experience. Now, one of the things is, let's say that sound is too much, or you want to kind of piecemeal some of the settings, there is an available individual mode. So you go ahead and push in that button to activate it, and if you push and hold, it takes you to the customized screen. Now, the settings for the individual I have right now are sport for engine, normal for steering, comfort for that engine sound, meaning it dials it back, disabling the idle stop, and giving me the blue comfort gauges. So you can piecemeal any of these, create your own individual setting if that's what you like. And so again, you can get a blend of the different drive modes if that's what you want to. But overall, I mean, again, I think this thing's a lot of fun to drive, and you know, together with that, the features, man, the Bang Olufsen sound system sounds amazing. You can open up the massive panoramic roof and let the light in. You got ventilated seats, all your connectivity and charging, Google built in. I mean, you name it, this car has it. And again, at $44,000 MSRP. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Are you liking this new ADX? Is this the perfect SUV in the Acura lineup? Let me know also if you want to see other ADX trims as they become available. We'll be happy to bring that to you here on the channel, and or other other competitor, small SUVs, maybe even from the European set. So let us know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Always happy to accommodate. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this drive video.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. What did you think of the 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec Advance? Is this one of the best SUVs on the market today? I mean, you went over all the exterior details, the new interior details, and I mean, look, you get a premium sound system, tons of features and technology for just $44,000 fully loaded. So let us know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Let us know if you want to see other trims of the ADX on the channel or even other competitors. We're happy to bring it to you. So if you've joined us before, thank you so much. But if you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that bell to subscribe to come back for more. Thanks, and we'll see you at the next episode.